Welcome. I'm Yvonne Davis, author, astrologer, and life transformation coach. And today I'm going to be talking about Jupiter's move into Aquarius. So this is titled Jupiter in 2021, A Light at the End of the Tunnel. And so a lot's going to be changing in the month of December. And in fact, it's already starting now with the full moon eclipse, which will be exact on November 30th. So it's very close now. That brings endings, significant endings. So it's like closing a chapter, closing a door, and opening up a new door, a new chapter. So those changes are significant. We're seeing them happen on the national scale. And the new moon eclipse on December 14th, which is the same day as the Electoral College meeting, will be that coincides with that new moon eclipse. So yes, dramatic new changes on the national scale. But also they bring changes in our lives as well. And I've talked a lot about the eclipses, what they're bringing, and I want to move now into a little bit further into the future. And so I'm going to bring up some charts here and let you know what's coming in December. So the first chart actually that I want to look at is the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. And this one takes place on December 21st. So this is the time frame that you'll be wanting to look at. So again, the new moon eclipse is on December 14th. That's at 23 degrees of Sagittarius, and that will bring new beginnings. And then this shift of both Jupiter and Saturn into Aquarius will also bring dramatic shifts in energy, which means, you know, like we'll see the manifestation of that. That will be dramatic as well. So Saturn actually moves into Aquarius on December 17th. And then Jupiter moves into Aquarius on December 19th. And then they conjoin on December 21st. So basically that's December 17th, 2 days later, December 19th, 2 days later, December 21st. So that time period, we may see some turbulence. As an example, with Saturn hitting the 29th degree, we may see some stock market volatility. When it moves into Aquarius like it did in April, we may see lockdown. So, you know, so that will be difficult at first. But the good news is that as Jupiter moves further into Aquarius and separates from Saturn, it's going to ease up because the energy of Jupiter will be freed from the constraints of Saturn. And so Jupiter will be able to really bring its benefic energy while it's in Aquarius. So that's the good news that I want to share with you. So let me go ahead and pull up first the Aquarian new moon. So this is really interesting. It's exact on February 11th at 2:05 p.m. Washington, D.C., so you can adjust for your time zone. And so what we see here is we see a ton of Aquarian energy. And, you know, it's interesting because there's not a whole lot happening in the rest of the zodiac. We've got, of course, the nodes here, the North Node in Gemini and the South Node in Sagittarius, which made the eclipses on November 30th and December 14th. And what we see here is that now Pluto is by itself in Capricorn. Pluto is power and Capricorn is government. And we will still be seeing lots of transformation happening with Pluto in Capricorn. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, Pluto will actually return to, it'll make a Pluto return to the placement in the U.S. Declaration of chart. And that will bring about transformation. And that happens around February of 2022. So we're moving into a dramatic 4 years of transformation and restructuring of power and authority, which was kicked off by the Saturn-Pluto conjunction with the full moon eclipse in Capricorn and Cancer on January 10th of 2020. So now we're looking, now we've moved through that about a full year, but the transformation is not complete, okay? There's a lot of work that has to be done over the next 4 years, okay? And actually even beyond that, but this 4 years is going to be critical because this is the time period in which Pluto will make that return to Pluto. And so this is a super important administration that will be coming in for 4 years. And what we also see at this time is Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, the moon, and the sun all in Aquarius at the time of the new moon in Aquarius. And there's some good news and then some difficult news. The difficult news is the square of Mars to this new moon. And so, you know, the Mars in Taurus, it will equate to all things material and financial. So I think that definitely with the alignments on Inauguration Day, we're going to see a lot of instability in the stock market, volatility in the stock market, and in the economy. Like I said, we may see a lockdown at first in late December, and then a month later we have the inauguration. So all of these things are happening in a very compact period of time. And so a lot is happening. And you know, there, like I said, there may be some civil unrest that comes with the inauguration because of the alignments, and there may be a period of stock market volatility, economic downturn, possible lockdown, you know, working with the pandemic, you know, trying to deal with the pandemic. Maybe some supply chain disruption because of all these alignments and where they're landing are in the same signs that were impacted earlier in 2020 when we experienced all of those things. So they may come around again and have to be dealt with. But the fact is by the time we get to the Aquarian new moon on February 11th, even in spite of this square, we're also seeing a Jupiter-Venus conjunction at the new moon in Aquarius. That's amazing. And they are trining the North Node and sextiling the South Node. So karmically, we're moving into better times, okay? And Jupiter and Venus conjunctions, they're the great, Jupiter is a great benefic, Venus is the lesser benefic, but they're the most benefic planets in the zodiac. And so when they're conjunct, you know that something beneficial is coming. And Jupiter has separated enough from Saturn that its beneficial energies are not being constrained by Saturn, okay? Now, Aquarius is the sign of the future, of humanity, of science and technology. So what this says to me is this new moon in Aquarius is indicating a solution to the problem. So most likely that would be a vaccine. And so it's becoming available, which is going to benefit people. I also think that this will relate to a stimulus package, okay? Because these are solutions, right? So what would be some solutions? Well, the vaccine would be a solution. Stimulus money would be a solution, okay? So these are things that we can expect to begin seeing coming onto the scene. With Mercury retrograde at the time of the new moon can indicate two things. One is it can indicate a return to issues of the past, which in this case is true. These are issues that we've had to deal with the entire year. So we are going back to issues of the past, but also it can indicate like slowing down or delays. So what that means is even though the solutions are coming on the scene, they won't happen instantaneously, okay? There will be some slowdown and obstacles in terms of rolling it out, okay? But the solutions are already promised in this new moon. So that's good news. And I would also say that Mars in sextile to Neptune, the energy is flowing well there, and this is a good energy in terms of the collective. But it can also indicate, you know, these challenging issues with the pandemic. But I think that with this new moon, we are actually seeing the solutions rolling out. Okay, so yes, there is some volatility going on in terms of stock market, the economy, the pandemic, civil unrest, and all of that. And yet, at the same time, this beautiful solution is being kicked off. It's being promised at the time of the new moon in Aquarius. So we can rest assured that better times are ahead, okay? And then the other placement I wanted to show you a little bit further into the future is the Pisces new moon on March 13th, 2021. So I think just really quickly, just because I didn't throw in that inauguration chart, I'm going to throw that in real quick. So again, the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is December 21st. So I told you what that means. That means probably some stock market volatility, economic volatility, possible lockdown. So this will be at first a challenging energy, but then it will get better as soon as Jupiter moves away from Saturn. Okay, a month later, we've got the inauguration day where we do see some potential. This is the new government, which is super exciting, but this is the outsider resistance, okay, led by Trump, and all the people who, you know, think the way he thinks. This is they're squaring off against the established government, and Lilith is in there too, the shadow. So these are this is a kind of, it's squaring off, but it's like an opposition energy, and could indicate some violence and civil unrest. So it's indicating difficult 4 years ahead because of the fact that we need to work through the problems that we saw come up over the past 4 years. So now the next 4 years, we're going to be dealing with those issues, okay? And the Pluto return to Pluto in February of 2022. Okay, so that's the setup. But then, like I said, in February, which would be a month after this, we get the solution. And then 2 months later, March 13th, it's much, much better. So much better. Because now we've got a new moon in Pisces conjunct Neptune and Venus. This is a gorgeous energy, almost a magical kind of energy. It's an energy of love, compassion, connection. I mean, this is probably one of the best new moons of the entire year. And you can see here now that Mercury is direct, and Jupiter has nicely separated from Saturn. And so all the energy in here around issues of science and technology and solutions for humanity in the future are able to move forward. They're not constrained in any way. And so those solutions are now rolling out, okay? And starting to make life much, much better, okay? So I wanted to give you some good news because I know that, you know, with the well, I think the eclipses are bringing good things, but the Saturn Jupiter shift into Aquarius at first might be a little bit difficult, and then and the inauguration might be a little bit difficult. So I wanted to let you know that like better times are definitely ahead. Okay. All right. So that's it for now. And let me get myself in focus here. Okay, so that's it for now. And just want to say, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please click on the red button and subscribe. And also, if you would be willing to go over to my Financial Freedom channel and check that out and subscribe to that. I hope you will like the videos, but regardless, if you would be willing to go over there, I'm getting very close to my goal now of 1,000. So anybody who goes over there and just clicks on subscribe is helping me to build that channel. And I thank you so much for that. Also wanted to say thank you for all the really sweet messages that I received in my last video. All the just really sweet comments and wishing me a happy Thanksgiving. And so I hope that all of you had a really happy Thanksgiving too. And if you want to get more in-depth information about the political situation and the alignments, check out my Patreon channel. There's a link below or at the end of this video. And, you know, I put up exclusive videos over there. Plus we have group Zoom meetings. We have one coming up on Friday. And there are gifts that come along with your whichever tier you join. All right, so that's it for today. And I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.